So what would it be like if you could invite Jesus over for dinner? Well, did you know that you actually can? Jesus said, invite the needy to dinner. Good morning, and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus Said comes from Luke 14, verses 12 through 14, and you can find a different command of Jesus every weekday at our Bible plan at bible.today.church. For a little bit of context, we're going to read the first verse of Luke 14 to begin, and we'll be reading today from the New Living Translation. One Sabbath day, Jesus went to eat dinner in the home of a leader of the Pharisees, and the people were watching him closely. Now, before we go on here, it's important to understand the context. Shabbat Shalom. I mean, this was a Sabbath day gathering. This was a big deal. If you've ever watched The Chosen, you can see, some of the Sabbath meals that they have, or maybe the musical Fiddler on the Roof. There's a lot of preparation for Sabbath, and everyone wanted to experience that in a unique place or in a place of honor. I mean, it's like everyone was trying to get the good seats. And so in response to this, that's part of the teaching that Jesus gave, responding not only to the questions, but to the situation. So let's go to Luke 14, verse 12. Then he turned to his host. When you put on a luncheon or banquet, he said, don't invite your friends, brothers, relatives, and rich neighbors, for they will invite you back, and that will be your only reward. Instead, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind. Then at the resurrection of the righteous, God will reward you for inviting those who could not repay you. Now, understanding this in context, this Sabbath meal where Jesus gave this example, it was a weekly worship experience. But he's saying when you put on a luncheon or banquet, when you even have a worship experience, it shouldn't be a private party. Even though it was an honor to be invited to this, the point that Jesus is making is it's not about finding a seat of honor. And for the first couple of centuries, a gathering of believers would be like this. It would be a meal, including a meal. In fact, they called it a love feast, an agape feast. And so this was a worship experience. And Jesus is saying, hey, it's not a private party. Invite others. Invite the needy, those who don't fit in, those who can't pay you back for generosity. Don't invite the important people, those that you're expecting to get something from. Instead, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind. You see, that's where the heavenly reward is. Private parties make us feel good, but that's it. That's all the reward we ever get. It's temporary. But when we invite the needy to dinner, the rewards are eternal. And often we treat this command like it's optional, but Jesus didn't say every once in a while when you put on an event. He said when. So all of our events, all of our gatherings should be an invitation to the needy. One of the TC core values, the Today Church core values, is that we're all about people. Everyone has a place. We say everything is an outreach. And we've done some community meals. We've given to some homeless ministries. But this command isn't about some special event or special ministry endeavor. It's about a lifestyle of hospitality, welcoming guests and welcoming those who can't pay you back. And we talk about a guest mentality rather than a visitor mentality. And what does that mean? That means that you prepare for and expect guests, but visitors just show up. So are we ready for guests? Are we prepared for them? Are we inviting and expecting them? Who are you inviting? If someone important was going to be a dinner guest in your home, you would clean things up, put the good dishes out, or the name brand paper plates. And we do our best to make a good impression. But Jesus said, when we do good for the needy, we are actually doing it unto him, unto Jesus. That means that Jesus could show up at any of our events. He might be represented by someone who's poor, crippled, lame, and blind. But that's Jesus. That's what he said. Shouldn't guests be VIPs? You know, I'm challenged every time I read this. Who am I inviting? Who am I expecting? Who am I welcoming to my private little parties? Jesus said, invite the needy to dinner. How can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it really does mean a lot. If you like it, if you share it and comment, I really appreciate you. I hope that you have an amazing day today. And I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.